28. The same position may arise by a transposition of moves in the kilobytes opening after IPK4. IPK4, to B64, to KKD63, 3KKD63. F6. L. 28. The only move to maintain the peak gained, and though white obtains apparently a strong attack, black by best defense ought to be able to get out with advantage in position and material. L. 28. 6 KDX would be bad on account of the rejoinder 6. QK2. But of course if black reply 6 PXKD at once, white would win by 7 QR5 chapter. L. 28. Better than 6. POJ, 7 KDR4, 7 QK2, 8 QR5 chapter, 8 KQ square, 9 page 64, 9 KD63, 10 BK3 with a strong attack. L. 28. If 9 KD6, 9 QK square, 10 BQ3, 10 BK2 and wins. L. 29. Clearly necessary as white threatens. L. 29. By this move black avoids all the complications suggested in our next column and prepares for the strong advance of PQ, for which will give him the superior position as white's kilobytes will be reduced to inactivity. 12. L. 30. Continued. 16. PKS, 17 KDKD5, 17 QBQ4, 18 Q4 followed by KDXKP. It is however noteworthy that white, instead of retreating the Q given in our main column, might attempt to sacrifice her, and we believe there is only one line of play to save black's game, e.g. 16 PX, 16 PXQ, 17 PX chapter, and now it's 17. QK3, 18 PQ7 chapter, 18 K62, 19 KDKD5 chapter and wins. Or if 17 KDK3, 18 KDKS, 18 BX, 19 KDXQ, 19 664 CH, 20 KR, square, 2 XKD, 21 Q7 chapter and wins. But after 17 BK to 18 BXB or 18 PXB, is KDQ for, etc. 18 KDK3, 19 KDKD5, 19 Q64, to OKT XKD, 20 KQ2, black ought to win. 130. Page K4 IPK4, 31 KDB3 32. RQPXKT opus kilobytes 3 no QOQK2 and RK square. Petrov's defense. 9 KKDB3 KKDB. 33. PQ3. 34. KDXP. 35. QK to 96. KDXP. 36. BK3. OKBGB4. BKD3 97 page Q3 88 9. Chapter. Page underscore B3. NQBKKD's OQ underscore Q3. BQB4. KQ square 00. 7QKD5 chapter. 7QXKD slash P drive greater than slash QQPQB3. QXKD PKDQ to 89 OQXKDKDXKD dot RKSQ. And QXBPOC circumflex accent T. Then circumflex accent greater than H. Then RB square 90 00 circumflex accent B circumflex accent 94 QBKR6. QK to page Q4. 10. KDK5 RK8 chapter. BK to RQ circumflex accent. QB2 KDX 84. KD6 tilde 1 circumflex accent K. RKSQ. Next JLVOVN. TNVA circumflex accent J. 9 Lu KG2 tilde 1 UKUSQ. Negative for QKD4CH. 4 JB tilde B4. QXKBP chapter. Then QXB. 92 UKB3. BQ5 chapter. D. And QR5 chapter. LUT KD3. KDX KDP. Q2 lutetium B1. KSQ. 860 KD93 QK4 chapter. QXBCH. 15 by equals. Chapter. QK8. Q2. PRK square dot plus XY. QV. ID rejoiced. 13 BKDSQ. 10 KB4. UQ-KD4 square dot plus BK3 chapter 41. 15. KD4 PR for CH dot plus 95. 85 IQ Q2 plus 87. Column 31. Move 16 RKSQ. Black. Column 34. Move 12 BQ5 chapter. Black. White. White. Petrov's defense. 131. 83. L. 31. The attack is not lasting enough for such a heavy sacrifice. 84. L. 31. Much stronger than 12 BXB, 12 PQ for 13 KDX, 13 BK3, 14 KD6, 14 PX, 15 QXB, 15 QXB, etc. 85. L. 31. Ish 16. BXB, 17 QK8 chapter, 17 KQ3, 18 QKS chapter, and wins Thek, for it 18 KQ2, 19 QK6 chapter, and makes next move. 86. L. 32. Obviously White's best chance of continuing the attack. If 13 KDXR, 13 QXB and wins. 87. L. 32. Continued, 17 B64 chapter, 17 KD3, 18 BK3 chapter, 18 864 and wins. L. 33. Obviously Black dare not capture KD on account of 7 DX. Chapter, 7 KK2. L. 33. A new and feasible defense, but Black's game is already too much compromised. L. 33. Or 9 BX KD, 10 QRs, 10 PKR3, 11 BQ2. L. 33. If 10. QK/3 or K square, White answers with still greater force and RKSQ. And obviously, if 10 QK2 or 63 then 11 BKD5 and wins. 92. L. 33. If II. BK2, 12 PKKD4, 12 QB square. For 13. QK3, 14 KDB6 chapter, or if 13. Q63, 14 BKD5 plus, 13 QQ5 plus, 93. L. 33. Obviously White threatens to win at once by KDQ for 94. L. 34. Or 9 BKD5, 10 RXQ, 10 BXQ, then BKD dollars chapter, 11 KB square, 12 RXB and Black dare not capture the R on account of the impending mate by RQ8 Gossip's Manual. 95. L. 34. White mates into moves. This variation is given by Stanton. 96. L. 35. If for KDX, for PQ for 5 BKD3, 5 QKD4, 600, 6 QX 7 RK square, 7 kilobytes QB4, 8 QK.2, 8 QBKKDs, 9 QXB, 9 BXB chapter, 10 KB square, 10 BXR, QB8 chapter, UKK2, 12 QXR, 12 KD6 chapter, 13 PX 13 BXB plus. German Handbuch. 97. L. 35. Or 6 PQ3, 6 KDX 7 BKD5 chapter, 7 page 63, 8 KX 8 QKD3 CH.F. 98. L. 35. Black threatens R kilobytes square, followed by RX. With an irresistible attack. 99. L. 36. Ish 6. BXB chapter, 7 KB square, 7 BKDs, 8 BKD3, 8 QK2, 9 BX 9 QX 10 QX 100. L. 36. If 9 P kilobytes 4, 9 KD63, 10 QK4, 10 RK square, UKQ square, UKDX KD stronger than UQR5, to which White may well reply 12 PQB3, not 12 QKDQ2 on account of I2. BKD5 chapter, 13 QKD63, 13 Q67 etc. and after 12. BKD5 chapter, 13 K62, 13 Q67 chapter, 14 KDQ2, Black threatens kd and retains his piece with a good game. 12 px kd, 12. 13 qx best for black threatens qr for ch. 146 kd5 ch dot plus. 132 Petrov's defense. Hamel. Dufresne. Potter Mason. Dot pk4. Petter greater than key s defense. 133. Potter v. Mason. 1. Lame by 8. Dot b kilojoules is the usual move here. See continuation in call. 16. 2. Lame by we prefer 10 px beer, for after ubxb chapter, ukr square. Black would have the best of the game as he threatens pk-kd3 and will be able to defend the qb which ought to give him the superiority in the end, while white's king's side attack presents no danger if well taken care of. 3. Lame by an error of which the opponent takes advantage in a very ingenious manner. 4. Game I. Sound and brilliant. 5. Game I. It was not wise to effect this exchange, for in certain eventualities he had the prospect of bringing this b to kilobytes 4 or kd3 via e.4, and at any rate, the retention of this b would have made white's attack more difficult. 6. Game I. An important move for the attack and one of great depth and insight into the game. 7. Game I. White's fine I8 move had provided against any attempt at releasing himself by 19. Rk square, at this juncture, for then would follow 20 Rxr chapter, 20 kvxr, 21 br, chapter, 21 kr square, 20 to be kd chapter, and maybes into more moves. 8. Game I. An exceedingly beautiful coup which wins by force. 9. Game I. It was irrelevant what he did, for he could not have saved the game. If for instance 20 kvxr, 21 px kd, 21 bx kp chapter, 22 kr square, 22 bx kd, 23 qxb chapter, 23 kr square, 24 rx kd and wins. Of course, if 20 bx kd, 21 r kd3 and wins. 0. Game I. For if after 24 qk8 chapter, 25 rb square, 25 qxb chapter, 26 kr square, black must give up the q for kd and his game is then hopeless. Mackenzie v. Hammond. 11. Game 2. This early exchange of pawns has the disadvantage that it gives black an open qb file and allows his qkd to occupy the better post at qb3 than he could otherwise obtain. White's qbp is also weaker than black's qp. Game 2. qkd 63 was preferable. Game 2. An error that exposes him to the loss of a p and to any resistible attack. Game 2. Move 13 dxb chapter at once was much stronger and would have won the piece, for it 13. Kxb, 14 kdkds chapter, 14 kd3, 15 qxb, 15 dxb chapter, 16 krsq, 16 p kilobytes 4, 17 qr3, 17 kdq2, 18 qxb, 18 rr square, 19 kdr3 and wins. 15. Game 2. Of course black ought to have retreated his bq to 16. Game 2. Excellent play. White holds his grip on black's position with firm hand. 17. Game 2. Overlooking the very neat finish, but his game was gone. Schiffers and Tskaborn v. Halipin and Petrovsky. T. Game 3. The white allies rely too much on the apparent strength of their I4th move, but as will be seen, their calculations are overreached by a further deep combination of their opponents. Greater than. Game 3. The only correct move. If 15b62, 15bx80, 16pxb, 16 kdxb, 17 qq square, 17 kdxb and wins Dufresne. D. Game 3. 15 qq2, 16b62, 16bx80, 17 pxb, 17 kdxb, 18 qq square, and black dare not capture either kd or b. Dufresne. I21. Game 3. Of course if qxb the replied bq5 wins. The rest is easy. Continued on page 130 for Petrov's defense. Game note. I. Move 21. Rk3. Black Mason. Game number 2. Move 17. RX. Black Hammond. I. White Potter. White Mackenzie. Game number 3. Move 14 P kilobytes 4. Black ALATIN and PDTR OFFSK. Game number 4. Move 26. RQ7. Black Lighten Time. I8. I asterisk. Lean. White Schiffers and TSCHIGORIN. White Morphe. 1 KDKOKFSDIFKNCE. 135. Continued from page FJJJ. Morphe v. Lichtenstein. Game 4. A favorite counter-sacrifice and invention of Mr. Lichtenstein, but certainly inferior to KDX. Game 4. Not good on general principles. Earn 4. Quite justifiable, as white is not in need of castling on the king's side and may safely prepare an attack on that wing. Game 4. This is quite as compromising as unnecessary. This very P furnishes a mark for the hostile attack. Game 4. We consider 10 PKKD4 at once stronger. The likely continuation was 10 KDR2. If 10 KDQR4, 11 PKDs, 11 PXP, 12 KDXP with a strong attack 10 PKD5, UPXP. This is best now, for white would otherwise advance PKD6, 12 KRKD square, 12 BK2, 13 KDQ5. With an excellent game. Game 4. Well played. After getting rid of the adverse kilobytes, he can guard himself against the breaking in of the adversary on the king's side. Game 4. It would have been better to retreat KDR2 at once. Game 4. The delay in advancing PKD5 was unnecessary and even disadvantageous, for he will have forced an opening on the KKD file / which would have been sure to be more useful for the attack than the plan adopted anon. Game 4. It should be noticed that unless black had previously exchanged the adverse kilobytes or moved his king, white could now proceed with PKD6 effectively. Game 4. The sacrifice of the P is hazardous and in fact unsound, but it was very difficult for the opponent to steer clear of all difficulties afterward. Game 4. R continued with ingenious energy and spirit. Obviously if black take the KD, the replied KDB6 chapter or PKD6 wins. Game 4. An error of judgment which drifts him into further difficulties. The right move which would have won was 22 KDX, for if 23 RX KD, 23 QXR, etc., or if 23 BB6, 23 RX KD and wins. Game 4. Overlooking the adversary's beautiful scheme and its disastrous result for his game, B64 would have left him with a safe game and a P ahead. Game 4. Very finely played and absolutely decisive. Game 4. After 26 KDX, 27 RX KD, 27 Q63, 28 QX, 28 PB6, the continuation of 29 RX would lead to a draw as shown by Lowenthal. But white can't win by force by 29 R65, for if 29 RK8CH, 30 KQ2, 3 OKXR exclamation point 3 IQXQ, 3 1 PXQ, 3 2 RX. CH, 32 KK square, 33 KXR and wins. Game 4. White's terminating moves are marked by masterly vigor and accuracy. 136 Petrov's defense. PK4. KKDB3 KKDB3. Game 5. Game 6. Game 7. Game 8. TUDD, SCLLMANN and where Delmar, MOEHLE and Grundy. PQ3 KKD kilobytes 3. Page Q45. KKD kilobytes 338 no 0B. 8. Q4B Q3. K to PB 439 PX. So OKDB3. BKL _ lop KR 341. NQRB square. I page QR 342 Charles JP QR 3 _ 43. UC tilde. KDK2. QB kilobytes 444 game 5 counted. KDK5 KDX KD 30 BXB QXBTQ for Leipziger Skatheden, 1860. They NEERSSEN KOLISCH. QK2K KDK3 QXBCH. 52. BQB for Q0. BKD3 page B4. Velen Hall. UPB3. GKDB3. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, asterisk QK to be KKD5 page KR3BR for PKKD4B KD3 53 PQ for KDKSQ KDQ to PXB KKDXB QKDX KDPX KDP kilobytes for PXB KDX KD50 for PXB KDB6CH.55K KD2 Game 6 Condid XR 30 PXBCH U asterisk DB6Q9PR7CH.48K R20 circumflex accent 10 RKRSQ BKR circumflex accent underscore circumflex accent UBK3 BXBQXBCH KQ square 0 KDA chapter underscore Q square KXB62 Defresque Morphe Playing 8 games simultaneously blindfold amateur Podier KIESERITZK KDXB KDXB.Q KDB31 EK KDB364 KDXB for circumflex accent K to DB KD3 BK to 7 PQ for PB3 no 0 QK to CX KDBP circumflex accent QR D page Q for 65 P kilobytes 3 page kilobytes for 7 slash Q KD go to page B4 KDQ to vertical line KDQB3 BPX KD KDKD3 II1U KDB3 KDX KD chapter 66 the PX KDB KD5 chapter QB2B kilobytes for FQ asterisk PB3 BXP chapter eval BQ31 UPXB QRK square and QXBP chapter block BSQ 1 circumflex accent K equals B2 UQ KD3 JJQXR asterisk I circumflex accent PR 567 LF DQBQ KD2 KD KD6 chapter JRQXB KD square PX 18 PX KD BPX 15 17 18 PX PDs.ch KD271 KDSQ KRK KD square KR square BKD5 RK7Q2 K Esquire K230 for RXB CKRK square KDKB3 QRK KDSQ KRKSQ 350 equals 1 circumflex accent 4925 QQ greater than circumflex accent 3 5B6 46 QB3 PKR for Q KKD250 Lil Q underscore B2 GQ K356 9 IR tilde kilobytes for asterisk QRQB square QR kilobytes SG RB2QK KD357 QRB7CH.60 to 00K B3Q.QK 8CH underscore 0 for KB4 circumflex accent K Esquire 9 RE7 chapter KKDSQ 20 21 QXQBP chapter KB square 70 to QQ8 chapter KB2QB6 chapter KK square BKD2D73 QXBR K square chapter KRSQ PKKD447 then NQR7CH D underscore KXQ 51 then NRRSQ CH and makes next move OQVR 65 D58 9 KDR 7CH.59 KSQ 609 QQK KD7 underscore UURKIS NPR QBSQ.ch. NYPIU 23 24 KDX Speed D68 on KQ to Art K7 chapter KUSG KDKB369 R kilobytes 7 dis.ch. Q dollars circumflex accent and wins CKK square 9J vertical line circumflex accent RQKVSG chapter KR6 whitemates in tilde 8 tilde inos 63 Petrov's defense 137 Judd, Selman and Ware v. Del Marmol and Grundy 38 Lane 5 not a good move for they obtained a position quite identical with one the rising in the French defense excepting that they are a move behind 39 Game 5 the routine play in this opening but inadvisable in the present situation KDK5 was far superior 40 Game 5 We prefer QKDQ2 followed by KDKD3 and PQB3 with the ultimate object of fixing one of their pieces at 0.4. 41. Game 5. Quite useless. They had not to fear from the adverse B and could have played 12BQ3, whereupon if 13QBKKD5, 13BXKD, 14BXB, 14KDXB and obviously white dare not retake on pain of losing the Q by BXB chapter, and if 15BXB, 15R. KD square, still remaining with a piece ahead. 42. Game 5. Also loss of time as white could not well play KDQ-KD5 without subjecting himself to the fixture of the adverse KD in the center at Q4. 43. Game 5. All contrary to our principles as explained in our introduction. 44. Game 5. Rather a bold advance which makes the KDP a mark of attack from the hostile KDP. 45. Game 5. Waste of time all the more as 20. P kilobytes 4 was clearly much stronger, in which case, if 21p KD5, 21p XP, 22p XP, 22 page 65 plus, for it 23p XP, 23 RXB, 24 RXR, 24 QXB chapter, and unless white played 21p KD5 black was bound to obtain some advantage by opening the kilobytes file or by QRs to follow. 46. Game 5. Clearly if KD6 black answers Q63 and white dare not capture the R47. Game 5. An ill-judged counter-attack which ends in their own discomfiture. Better was 26. PKKD3, for white could not well advance 27PKD5 in reply, on account of black exchanging pawns followed by QR square chapter or QB6 accordingly. 48. Game 5. An excellent resource which not alone releases white's game from the pressure of hostile pieces but party transfers the attack completely into their own hands. 49. Game 5. At last the beat which has been threatened to be taken off by R or Q for the last two moves is safely fixed and black's king is accordingly imprisoned. 50. Game 5. This helps the opponents but there was no help for themselves. If 36QKY chapter, 37 RKD2, 37 QXQ, 38 RXQ, 38 KD question mark for, 39 RR3, 39 KDXB, 40 PXKD dis. Chapter and mate's next move. 51. Game 5. A very pretty termination. Anderson v. Kalish. 52. Game 6. Compare our columns 20 and 21. 53. Game 6. 12 KDX would have been unsound on account 12 PX 13 BX 13 QK3, 14 RQ3, I for BX plus. 54. Game 6. Necessary, for it 17 BX 17 KDX 18 BX 18 QXB and wins. 55. Game 6. 18 KDXR would not have been good on account of 18. QR5, 19 PX 19 BXBCH, 20 RB2, 20S greater than 63, etc. 56. Game 6. White could have won at least one P by QXB followed by KDXQP dis. Chapter, but on account of the bishops of opposite color the game was likely to end in a draw after that. 57. 6. A very strong move. 58. Game 6. Probably his best. If 26 KK to 27 QKD7, 27 R kilobytes square, 28 BX 28 BXB, 29 KDKD8 chapter, and wins. 59. Game 6. Very fine play. 60. Game 6. Of course if RXKD white could win the Q by RXB chapter. 61. Game 6. Best. Perhaps the simplest plan would have been QR8 chapter followed by continued on page J** Petrov's defense. Game number 5. Move $3. QR. Chapter. Black Delmar, MOEHLE and Grunty. M4H. Game number 6. Move 26 or 65. Black KOLISCH. MLF88 circumflex accent asterisk. If white jumped SCLLMAN and where white ANDERSSEN. Game number 7. Move 23. KDX. Black poet ear. Circumflex accent island I/M greater than // L underscore asterisk. White Morphe. Playing 8 games blindfold. Game number 8. Move 21 BKD2. Black KIESERIDZK. White amateur. Petrov's defense. 139. Continued from page 137. 62 Game 6. 33 QKD. Chapter is deceptive, as white gains nothing after 33 Q2, and if 34 are by 35 are KD5 dis. Chapter, and wins. 63. Game 6. Thus, 39 are kilobytes 3 chapter, 39 KX 40 QK dot chapter, 40 KXR, 41 are KB3 chapter, 41 KB8, 42 QK square chapter, 42 K by 43 QQKD square chapter, 43 KQ7, 44 RQ3CH dot 44 KK7, 45 QQ square chapter, 45 K67, 46 R63 mute. Morphe V. Podier. 64. IA New. 7. This move equalizes the game, but as shown in call 28 black may maintain the P by 4. KDX KD with a safe game. 65. Game 7. Page 63 followed by PQ3 is much superior. 66 Game 7. The weak move. Black is losing too much time, and his king's side is also compromised by this advance. 67. Game 7. Black drops into the ingenious trap laid by the opponent. KKD square was now indispensable. T58. Game 7. Highly ingenious and, considering that white was playing this blindfolded along with 7 other games, the combination initiated by this move belongs to the finest pieces of chess strategy. 69. Game 7. Obviously, if KKDXB white mates on the move by RXKDP chapter, and if 24 QKDXB, 25 RXKD dis. Chapter, 25 KDB2, 26 RXKD, and wins. Amateur V. Kivrisky. 70. Game 8. Compared up to this juncture table 6, L. 19. The right move is here 14 QQ5 chapter. 71. Game 8. Best. Ish 16 KQ2, 16 RKD square, 17 QX 17 RXB chapter, 18 K63, 18 BKS, 19 BQ2, 19 Q62 chapter, with a winning attack. 72. Game 8. If 19 KK square, 19 QK dollars chapter, 20 KQ square, 20 BK2, 21 BQ2 or 21 RK square, 21 QB6 chapter, 22 RK2, 22 PQ6, and wins 21 QB6 chapter, 22 KK square, 22 RK square, and wins 73. Game 8. Black's attack is excellently conducted. PHILID defense. The move 2. PQ3, in the KKD opening, is already noticed in the Göttingen MSM by Italian authorities. The defense thereby initiated is now known as Philidor defense, bearing its name after the great French master who first gave it an extensive analysis. Philidor chiefly rested his defense on the counterattack by 3 PK B4 in reply to 3 PQ4. More modern researches have, however, proved this move absolutely unsound. Philidor probably based his preference of 2 PQ3 on the idea that the knight ought not to obstruct any pawn in the early part of the game. Modern experience has proved quite the contrary, and both the KKD opening, as well as the QKD opening are now recognized as belonging to the strongest initiatory moves for the attack on the second move, albeit in each case the pawn is obstructed by the development of the respective knights. In our opinion, not alone the continuation 4. P kilobytes 4 on which Philidor chiefly based his defense, but the whole opening is more disadvantageous for the second player than the regular 2. QKD 63. For the attack, however, we find that after 3 PQ for 3 PX, the continuation for KDX is much stronger than for QX. which used to be invariably favored by old masters. In all the variations arising from the last named move, it seems to us that white can only equalize the game, and if he tries to force the attack, he even gets the worst of it. This is chiefly due to the circumstance that he is to exchange a b for a kd very early, and the power of the two combined bishops is quite strong enough to keep at least the balance for black. On the other hand, for kdx is, on principle, the natural move, for it frees white's kdp for an ultimate attacking advance, and white's kkd in the center cannot easily be got rid of, as it obviously weakens black's qp to advance pqb4. In our own practice we have favored 3bb4 for the attack, which the author introduced in 1865, in the Dublin tournament against the Ref. G. A. MacDonald. It may produce a slow game, like the Guiuco piano, but black will labor under the disadvantage of not being able to make good use of either of his bishops, for his kilobytes evidently remains blocked, and as regards the QB, it appears to us equally unfavorable for the second player to attempt its exchange for the adverse kkd by pkkd dollars, as to oppose white's kilobytes at k3. In the latter case black will be saddled with a bad doubled pawn in the center, which also hampers his advancing his qp, as thereby both his king's pawns are left isolated if white does not exchange pawns. The first table is devoted to the attack 3bb4, which we hold to be at least as good as 3pq4. In call, I will illustrate the mode of procedure against the defense 3.bk2, and we differ from authorities who recommend for pq4. Our substitution of 4 page 63 seems to us preferable on the ground that it gives white the option of forming a center by the advance of pq4, or else of supporting his loose kp by pq3. In the next column we give a variation that is likely to be played for the defense, though we have not seen it mentioned, and the point of the line of play indicated is somewhat instructive for beginners, inasmuch as it shows that white obtains much the superiority, though he is to move his king early in the game. In call 3 we present some modifications of the lines of play on each side which were hitherto considered the best, and the steady sort of development which we afterward philid as defense. For favor for the first player seems to us to yield the slow but sure advantage, especially under the circumstances that black cannot get rid of his doubled center pawn. In call 4 we propose our amendment on one of the established lines of play on white's sixth move. The complications and the tactical surprises that arise from our alteration will, we believe, afford good instruction for the student. The next column shows in what manner the sixth move hitherto recommended can be met, and by the mere alteration of black's next reply, for which 6.q83 used to be recommended, we think we prove in conjunction with the subsequent demonstration that the variation ought to end in favor of the defense. The main play of the last column of the table is already given by Alpire, and we have only suggested some slight tactical improvement at the end where a mating position is pointed out that has hitherto been overlooked. In calls 7 and 8 of the second table we have to reverse the judgment that seems to have been accepted by most authorities, for we approve of knight kdxr which, we believe, has been condemned on fallacious grounds, whereas, we discard 9 kdxb, which hitherto was considered best. In call 9, however, the advantage accruing to white by best play on the other side, though no doubt the best defense is far from obvious in minor variations pointed out, is so small that on account of this variation alone we would recommend the move for pq3 in preference to for pq4 as the safer course. In call 10 positions are equalized in consequence of our proposition 6.kd square, in lieu of 6.kdk2 hitherto authorized. In fact, owing to the far advanced qp, we would very slightly prefer black's game for reasons indicated in our introduction. But the difference is so imperceptible in the present position, owing to the undeveloped state of black's king's side, that we did not feel justified in marking the position notably in favor of the defense. Call 1-1 is given as an example of a feasible line of play that might be adopted for the defense by inexperienced players, and it is shown how to take advantage of black's defective tactics in a speedy manner. In call 1-2 we quite agree with the conclusions of the authorities that the initiatory remove of the variation ought to end in white's favor, but we introduce some varieties in the demonstrations which lead to very interesting complications. Table III presents the old attack by 3pq4 and 4qx. The line of play adopted by Hurwitz against Morphy on its move is the key to the defense, and we show in L13 that black obtains an advantage in position if white pursue the plan of exchanging knights and queens. L14 is an ingenious idea of Herrham, the author of the Vienna opening. It has not been noticed in the books yet, but it is, nevertheless, so strong for the defense as to be in itself an undeniable answer to the old attack by 7q-bk5. In Call 1-5 we prefer the retreat of a bk3 in accordance with one of our maxims laid down in our introduction, namely, that the b should, if possible, be posted in the center and keep command of both wings, and we think the position arising from our suggestion shows greater advantage on its surface for white than the variations springing from 8br4, which used to be the fashion 20 years ago. In Call 1-6 we notice the defense for bk3, and again we base new demonstrations on the reserved attack 8bk3 in preference to the old book move 8br4, and we believe the logical sequence will show that the b comes in more handy for the attack at the post we select. Call 1-7 is a variation which, in our opinion, leads to an even game, though has the advantage of his two bishops that in most lines of play in this opening gives the defense the preferable position. The point is that white, having again posted his QB 142 BIIL idea defense K3 instead of KD5, does not afford opportunities for the defense to gain time by withdrawing his KD and offering an exchange. L1-8 treats an attack that sometimes has been favored by old masters like Lowen Al, for instance, but has been somewhat underrated in theory, for we consider it anyhow stronger than the old line of play for QX. The column is quoted from the Lipschitz edition of Gossip's Manual. On Table IV the same initiatory line of play is further tested against the answer for KKD63, with a similar result in favor of the first player, who, though he does not gain any material, manifestly obtains the superior position. L20 deals with the famous counterattack which Morphy adopted against various players and produced in his practice some of the finest specimens of brilliancy. Some will be found in our game department of this opening, but though the initiatory 3.p kilobytes 4 is almost unanimously condemned in modern analysis, opinions differ as regards the line of play to be adopted for the attack. We give in Call 20 the one that has been held the strongest by various authors, but introduce some modifications on white's 10th move which we think leads to a quicker and more potent result for white. Yet we cannot help showing our misgiving about the efficiency of the whole line of attack commenced by white with 4q-KD63, for we think that an apparently slight alteration in the order of moves as hitherto given produces an even game for the defense. For that reason we altogether give preference in Call 22 to 4pxqp for the attack, and this line of play might also be available for the first player in the counter gambit on the second move arising from IPK4 to KKD63, 2p kilobytes 4, 3px 3p q.3 for pq for pk5, which, by transposition of moves, shows the same situation as in Call 22. The next column gives a similar result in white's favor against the most feasible alteration of the defense. In Call 24 we turn in two lines of play arising from two more moves that actually occurred in Morphy's play, and though no doubt it is preferable to adopt the attack given in our Call 22 on the fourth move, we believe that even at that stage on the sixth move we can prove the advantage for the first player in consequence of a modification of the attack with 6q-KD63. Other continuations of this form of opening will be found in the illustrative games. Table V deals with continuations for the defense with the result that by best play white obtains the superiority, but any indifferent move in the attack enables black to get an even game. But noteworthy is Call 29 in which black has an opportunity of gaining the p on the sixth move, and his seizing that advantage seems very feasible. Yet the defense is thereby involved into great difficulties which, however, require some niceties of play on white's part in order to obtain the superiority for his side. PHIL idea defense 143, page K4 KKDB3. First continuation. First defense. second defense, third defense, fourth defense, 1_ second continuation, first defense, second defense, third defense, fourth defense, third continuation, first defense, second defense, fourth continuation, fifth continuation, sixth continuation, seventh continuation, eighth continuation. KKD 63 144 PHILID or defense 9 KKDB 3BB for PK4 6 5K to 23 KKDB SBK 53P _ KB3 KDKDs 5 up kilobytes 4 BXB _ for PXB for page Q48 020 PXB KDK TB3 QKD3 for UQ _ B square 007 _ B KD317 B3B KD5 IQK2 chapter KDB3 page KR3 plus 3 KQSG dot plus dot KDKDs circumflex accent KKDR3 asterisk RKDXBR 00 PQRs chapter QK to 9 KDB3 12K C circumflex accent QR5 chapter circumflex accent PXB 13 QPJCH KBXB KB3 KDQ square 6 UQXB chapter Opus KR3 then QBK KD5 fluid RKSG chapter QXPK5 or RHOKQ to Opus QR3 KD tilde R3 11 KR square plus dot BK6 chapter QKDs 10 UBXBQ K16 10 KDXBBK chapter BXBCH 12 PB311 page _ KR3 plus ITPQKD for chapter tilde is column for move 12 PKR3 black 16 RKD square chapter 1C equals B circumflex accent 17 KDXBCH dot plus D column 6 move 15 KDXB chapter black white PDIL dot IDE or SIH dot H dot VII 45 1 L I. We consider this quite as good at least as 3PQ for 2 L I move favored I Ilerwitz 3 L I. White has a position similar to one arising in the Guiuco piano, with the advantage that I.love kilobytes is confined and is likely to remain so. Should black now exchange B against KD, white retakes with the Q followed soon by PK KD circumflex accent, QK dot to KKD2, and P kilobytes 4, has occurred between the author and Mr. Macmillan Dublin. Should, however, black now answer 8. BR for then white would advance PK KD4, followed by QK dot to, with the superior game. For L 2 ish 6 dot PKR3 7px question mark plus colon 6 L 3 or 3 BKD dollars for PKR3 because he ought not to wait until black may play Q63 and then double the KDP followed by KDK dot and KDKD3, the weak point that white's kilobytes 4 and the latter has doubled pawn at least balances his two bishops in such a position. 6 L 3 if 8KK to 9 KDXKP 9 QXKD 10 QXB plus German handbuch 7 L 3 black is hampered by his doubled pawn, and the continuation might be IIKDB3. Of course black dare not capture the pawn twice on account of the ultimate QR for chapter 12 page 63, 12B64, 13 KDQ2, 1300, 14 QB2, followed by KDKD3 and BQ2. White will ultimately have the option of opening the game after the preparations either by P kilobytes 4, or PQ4, or else by advancing the QRP, or he may play the waiting game, and rely on the better position of his pawns for the ending. 8 L 4. The simplest and surest plan of continuing the attack is we believe for PQ3, which gives a position similar to the king's gambit declined, with a move ahead for white and black's kilobytes shut in. 19 L 4 ish 6 QR5 7 KDKD5 7 PXB or 7 KDB3 8 page QKD3 8 QKDs 9 BK2 and wins. 8qxb plus. The German Handbuch gives the following variations: ish 6 rx 80, 7qr5 chapter, 7kq2, 8qkd6, 8rr square, 9bx 80, 9qk2. Should the q move to 63, white would advance queens and bishops followed by px with a piece ahead. 10qxbp chapter, 10kqsq, iiqbk 5, iibxq, 12bxq chapter, 12bxb, 13pxb plus 10 l 4. After 9bk to lower ksq, 10bxb chapter, iiqxb, iiqxr chapter, or to qkd5, 13bkd5 chapter, and makes next move, 12kxq, 12rx80, 13qkd6. White also wins with ease. 11 tilde call 4 or 4 page 65, 12rk square, 12 page 63, 13qk8 chapter, 13kb2, circumflex accent core bq 8 mate. L 5 as shown in the German Handbuch. White wins if 6qb3 by 7px, 7bx, 8rk square chapter, 8kq2, 9bk6 chapter, 9bxb, 10kdxb, 10kd63, 10bx80, uq or pxb, 12qkd4, etc. L 5. Now, the resource 7kdx does not answer as well on account of 7qr5, 8pkkd3, or 8kdkd5, 8kkdkd5, 9kkdb3, 9qr4 8. .qkd5, 9bk2, 9qkd3, big tech b, 10kx80, and we prefer black's game. L 6 or 10 page 64, iipxbept iikxb, 12kd63, 12qq3 or 12bq3, 13bkd5 chapter, 13pxb, hqxqkdpch, i4k62, 15kdq5 mates 13bkd5 chapter, by 3pxb, hqxq, kdp chapter, 14kb2, 15bkd6 chapter, 15qxb, 16kdq5 chapter, and wins. German Handbuch. L 6. If 12kxb, 13qxb chapter, 13kd4, 14pqr for chapter, 14kd3, 15qq for chapter, 15 page 64, 16qxb mates. German Handbuch. L 6. For 13 qb3, 14 arcade square chapter, 14 k moves, 15 qxbp with or without chapter, and wins. L 6. If 14 kr4, 15 qq for /5 q63 or q3, i6 kd 3 chapter, 16 kd dollars if 16 kr dollars, 17 bxb double chapter, and makes next move either by qr4 or pr4, 17 pr3 chapter, 17 kxb, 18 bar underscore qr square chapter, 18k, kd4, 19 page 63 mate. L 6. White wins with ease, for if 15k kd3 or 15k xb, 16 r kd4 chapter, 16k xr, 17 q63 chapter, 17 kr5, 18 kd65 mate, 16 q0 for chapter, 16 kr4 f 16 k kd2, 17 kd chapter, 17 kr2, 18 kd dis chapter, 18 kx80, 19 bxb chapter, 19 kr4, 20 q kd4 chapter, 20 k kd3, 21 bb6 dis chapter, 21 kr2, 22 q negative 65 chapter, 22 kr3, 23 qr3 mate, 17 bx, 17 px by 8 q kd4 ch, i8 kr3, 19 qxb chapter, 19 kr2, 20 q65 chapter, 20 kr3, 21 qr3 mate. M6. IPK circumflex accent. 7. For PXKP. 5. 6 page KKD3. PHIL idea defense. KKDB3. 8. Page underscore Q for QR5 chapter. KKDB3. GQKS chapter. And BK to QKDXR 19 QKDXB. UPXB 8 QKDQ to then KDB3, 20 NQKD3 KDB3, for QKKD5, 9, GBB4 up kilobytes 4, 10, OPXKP packet KDs OQPXKP25 and KDR3 QXQ chapter, DPQ5, page Q4, 11 12, 29, B, QKD circumflex accent KD square, UKDK2, 37 QBKD5 chapter, 7 QKDB3 31, QKDB3 KDB3 PXB, then KDB3 BQ 326 UDB4 000 PXB, then KDQ 227 1 UQBKDs, 12, BK321 ILKR KDSQ, 020 asterisk QXBQ Q222, PQ5D, 11, 28, 14 ARC USQ dot plus 23, T underscore KDs plus D, 24, 7 PB3, page kilobytes 4, QBKDs chapter, HPB3, UKPXB, FLLR circumflex accent KDDWIJVD circumflex accent, 10, 11, 12, PXB10 QR5 PXB32 1 UQB3 KDXBCH, 4 for KQ 2 QQ3 plus 34, 12 BB4, 14 PXB plus 35, column 7, remove I3 PQ dollars, black, L, column 8, MOVE I3 KDKD5, black, white, PHIL idea defense, 147, L, 7, white may also play 9QXB chapter, 9QXQ, 10KDXQ, 10KXKD, IIPK 2, 10RKD square, 12PKKD3 WIDNEF ahead and a good game. L, 7, not 10BKD5, 10KD83, UQKD5, then QXB, 12BXKD, 12QXB, 13QRs chapter, 13KB square, 14QXB, 14 to 884, 15QRs, 15KKD2 plus, a variation given in I and hand butching white's favor. We may add that black might also proceed in the ith move of this variation with 11Q. Q for 12KD63, 12 kilobytes QKD5, L, 7, or 11. QX I to KDKD5, I to QUSQ, 13,664 plus, or event. KDX I to 00, 128. K3 against any other move white could advantageously play KKD6 or QKDXKP 13 RQ. Square, 13 QQ2, 148 K3, 14 page 64, 15 KDKD5, 15 QXKD, 16 DXKDF. L, 7.E12. KQ2, 13 RQ square, 13 KDQ for 14 QH5, 14 QK square, 15 QX 15 QXKD, I6 QXQ, I6 RXQ, I7 KDX plus. L, 7. White will save his piece. If for instance 14.000, 15 KD67, 15 RKD square, 16 RXB, 16 RXQ, 17 RXQ, 17 RKD2, 18 RXB, and wins. L, 8. Though white is a piece ahead, he has not a good game. He cannot now venture on 14 on account of 14 KDXB, 15 PXKD, 15 QRs chapter, 16 KQ square, 16 QR for chapter, and wins. L, 9. If 5.BPX 6QQS, 6QQ2, 7QXKP better than 7PK6, 7QK2, 8QXKP 8KD63, 9QK2, 9KDQR4 7QK2 if 7.PX 8KDX 8QK2, 9BB7 chapter, 9KQ square, 10KDXKD chapter, plus 8QBKKDs, 8KD63, 9BXKD, 9PXB, 10PK6, 10KDR4, 11KD63, IIKDXB, 12KDQS, 12QQ square, 13QXKD, 13 page 63, 14QKR for square, 14QR for chapter, 15 KD 63, 15 BK to 16 KD. Q 4 plus L 9. If 8 PKR 3, 9 RQ square chapter, 9 BQ 3, 10 BX KD chapter, 10 PXB, 11 KKDR 4. Threatening PX as well as KD 6, followed by 667 L 9. After 10 QKDX 10 KK to, then KRK square, IIPK 3, the game is about even. L 9. White has a slight advantage. The seductive but unsound line of play presents itself at this point, for white might apparently gain a great advantage now by 11 KKDX then BXR, 12 KDX KD, but if after 12. PKR 3, 13 BR 4, 13 PKKD 4, 14 BKD 3, 14 QBKKD dollars, 15 KDXB, 15 PKR 4 threatening PRs if white remove the KD, black recovers the piece and remains with the exchange ahead. L. IO. After 6 KDX 6 QRs, 7 KDKT dollars with 7 QBKKDs, 7 QXKP chapter, 8 KB square, 8 QKD dollars 7 KDX we slightly prefer black's position. L. IO. We consider this the only move for black which enables him to meet white's attack. L. IO. Should white play 7 KDX the replied 7. QRs would not be effective on account of a KDKDs, 8 PX 9 PKKD3, 9 QKDs, IO QXQ, IO BXQ, QKD 63 with the better game. But black would in such case replied 7 RXKD, 8 QRs chapter, 8 PKD3. It should be noted that T8. KQ2, 9 QKD6, Sandy wins 9 QXPCH, 9 R62, Lob Skady, IO QRs, then IIQXKPCH, 12 BK to 12 KXB. Even game. 32 L. II. If IO BXQ, 10 PX. Dis. Chapter, IIKD 63, 12 BXKD chapter and wins, or if IOQR for chapter, IIKD 63, IIQXB, 12 KDXQ, 12 BXQ, 13 KDXQP chapter, 13 KQ square, 14 KDK6 mate. 33 L. 12. The Hatchbuch gives here the following continuation 8. QBPX 9 PXQP, 9 PKS, IOPKD dollars CLL asterisk greater than IOBQ2, IIKDK6, IIQKD3, 12 KDR4, 12 QR for chapter. Of course if QXB black wins at once by KD 67 chapter, but as will be seen black's Q has no escape 13 BQ2 plus 14 L. 12. If QQ5 chapter, 12 KR square, 12 QXB, 13 KKDXRP and wins. 15 L. 12. For evidently black cannot retake the P by 14 PX. On account of 15 KD 67 15 KDX KD, 16 DX KD chapter winning easily. 148. PK4 IPK4. PHIL idea defense. QK KDB3. 13 QX 14 15 16 17 18. TB3. Kilobytes QKDs BK3. BKKDs. T kilobytes 3 TTG4. KDB 348 RPX. BXKD QKDQ 2 QKDB circumflex accent kilobytes QKDs. 7 BKD 5 KDB3. 36 BK to 39 PB3. 42 PB3 7. QXKDB 40 BXB 43 NBK3 45 BK3. QQK to chapter. D byte AA. Packet KDs KDR3. QKDB3 QXB QXQ. TK to QXR21 QKDB3 circumflex accent KDKD3. OKDK4. QKDQ for OQ underscore Q underscore O. UDK to. Then Q. The OBB for KDB3. 37. Then BXQP tilde kilobytes for. PX. BX. LKKD square. Asterisk circumflex accent KQ11. 10 KDKDF. 44. BKD5. I5Q tilde B4 tilde in. circumflex accent Q underscore BSQ. IU. B346. 9 KB square. Low IQ 00 plus 38. KDXB. QXBCH. KDSQ. KDQ 2. 16 QB7CH dot plus D47. Column 14. Move 9 QXR. Black. Column 16. Move 16Q by chapter. Black. White. White. Plitter defense. 149. Coh 13. Played by Harewitz against Morphy, and we believe quite sound. The game referred to preceded 8 KDB3, 8 BK2, 9000, 900, 10 KRK square, 10 PKR3, 11 BR4, 11 KDKSQ, I2 BXB, 12 QXB, 13 PK5, 13 BKD, I for PXH, 14 QKD4CH, 15 KKD square, 15 PX, 16 RX, 16 QKD, L, 13, if lock KDQ2, 10 KRKKD square, UOO or 10 KKDR4, UR KDs, 12 PKKD3, 12 BX, 12 P kilobytes 3, 12 B63 plus, N. Dot BR3, 12 RK square, 12000, 13 PKKD3 black threatens P kilobytes 4, and if PX then KDXQKD, etc. 13 QRK square, and we prefer blacks. Game. L. 13. Black will recover his P with the better game. He threatens now the XKD followed by R. KD4, or else 12 BKD2 followed after exchanging the QKD by BKS. L. 14. This ingenious variation was invented and generally adopted for the defense by Herr Ham of Vienna. It goes to show that the old attack by 4QX is not an effective one, for no more than an even game can be expected to result at the end of the main variation in which we believe all the moves on each side are forced after QXKDP. In fact, as we propose to show, white has the more difficult game of the two, and has to play most carefully in order to equalize matters. L. 14. 8BXB, 8QXB, GQXKDP, 9Q63, 10QXQ, 10KDXQ. Even game. L. 14. Black has now the attack quickly may be neutralized to the extent of a draw, but only by best play on the part of white. The game might proceed. 16 page 63, 16 PQ for 17 KB2, 17 B, PX, 18 PX, 18 PX, 19 KD64, 19 KD63. If, however, 1700, 17 BPX, 18 PX, 18 PX, 19 RB7 chapters, or 19 KD64, 19 KK/J, and we slightly prefer black 19 KQ3, 20 KDK2L, 20 RK2, 21 RB8, 21 KDR3, and again we think black has the better game on account of the passed pawn in the center which can be well supported. And also owing to the weakness of white's QRP which black threatens to approach with his king. L. 15. A hole is now created in black's center. We have already explained in our chapter on the principles of play that this is a great source of weakness. L. 15. We prefer this on principle as the B is kept in communication with both wings and is less liable to attack at a future stage. None of the advantages that white can derive from his position are in any way hindered by placing the B at K3, and evidently white has more option of withdrawing it to 64 or Q2 accordingly, or allowing it to be exchanged if necessary. L. 15. IIKDQ5, IIBXKD, 12 PXB is also favorable for the attack, and white by proper play ought to be able to preserve his KD from being exchanged, and then to plan it ultimately by way of Q4 to K6 or obtain some other advantage. L. 16. Again much better than 8BR for the move usually recommended here. As will be seen, the B comes in very handy for the attack from his more natural post. L. 16. Or IIQK2 or B2, 12 KDB6, 12 PXKD, 13 QX, 13 KKD square best, 14 BX, chapter, 14 KXB, 15 QR6 chapter, 15 KKD square, 16 BB6, and makes next move. L. 16. Might be continued 16k Rs, 17 PQKD4, 17 QQ2, 18 PKDs chapter, 18 QXP, 19 QXR, and wins. L. 17. If 5 PK5, 5 QK2L, 6 BK3, 6 KDKDs, 7 PXP, 7 QXP. Even game. L. 18. We not alone concur with Lowenthal's opinion that this is a good move, but we feel sure it is much stronger than for QXP, which used to be favored by the best masters of old. L. 18. This move, which is much stronger than 10. BK5, is suggested in the appendix to Gossip 1s Manual by Mr. Lipschitz. Black's best answer is 00, and to abandon the pawn, as evidently if 10 PQB3, 10 RQ square gives white a fine attack. 150. PK4K4, 1920. PHIL idea defense. KKDB3, 2122. PQ4, 2324. KDXP asterisk KKDBS QKDQB3 and BK2. RBQ3 duo. P kilobytes 4. QKDB3 PXBP PXKP. RQKDXP page underscore Q4. Then KKDXP 5 VVBQ K2 kilobytes QKD5 and KKDQ2. 5 KDKDs KKDB3 PKKD4 tilde tilde 61. 7020 QR5 chapter. KDX. 7 KDB3P, 451P circumflex accent KD3. 5 KDXBP KD5. HCDs KKDB3 52 BK2. QKDQB3 57. 7 page Q5 58 QXPCHC circumflex accent E slash. QKDB3 64. J page 63 6S. PK 666. Page kilobytes for PQB for KDB5. 12. KDQ. QB for QK to be Q3 KKDXKP. Then QK5 chapter. KB20200. UQK4 QXQCH. KKD kilobytes 359 KKD kilobytes 3. BXB 67. KKD2 OPXB KD for D53. BXKD dot R underscore underscore 0011. QKD XBP 63. Then QR's chapter. Locate Q to T 000. The NQKD5CH. Civil KB square. QQR6 chapter. KKSQ. Dot KDKD6. PXB Southeast 11. QR3. ISRB4. 15. 12. 13. BK to 62. QKDQ2. OOKDB square. Plus tilde tilde 63. KB square. KRK square. Plus D68 KDXQ. 15 KDXB plus. Column 20. Move MKDR4. Black. Column 24. Move 13 KRK square. Black. White. 1 IIUDRS defense. L. I9 dot if 7 dot 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 KDKSQ dot 8 page kilobytes 4 plus 7 dot PQB4 8 KKDK2 leaves the QP weak. L. 20 or 8 dot PXKD 9 QXR 9 BK dollars 9 QKS plus L. 20 IIKDXR IIKXKD 12 QBKKD5 12 BKD2 13 BXKD 13 BXB 14 QXKP is OU. Very good. This is given by Zukertoward, who first analyzed this attack from White's fifth move, which was first adopted by Bird against Morphy. L. 20 continued, 15 BB square, 16 QBKD5, 16 KDQ2, 17 BK6 plus. L. 21. The chief point for the defense is to attack the queen before White has played QBKKD. 5. If, for instance, 5 PX 6 KDX, 6 KKDB3. Even now 6 QKD63 produces the same position as in our main line of play by a transposition of moves. 7 QBKKD5, 7 BK2. White has gained time for 8 kilobytes QB4, 8 QKDB3, 9 QK/J with a strong attack, for after 9 KB square, 10 bx Katie, high box b, Ben OOQ White has evidently the superior game. L. 21. The game is even, for White cannot win the BPEG, 13Q60 for chapter, 13PQ for, 14QXB, P, 14PX Katie, 15QXR, 15PX Katie, etc. Plus. The two pawns majority which White has are separated onto wings and are more than counterbalanced by Black's powerful two bishops for a rook. 57. L. 22. If 6. KKD 63, 7 PKKD 4 followed by PKKD 2. 58. L. 22. Not 7 QR 5 chapter, 7 QB2 recovering the page 59. L. 22. 9 PK6, 10 PX, 10 QXB chapter, IIKQ square threatening KKD 63, would be worse. Still for Black. 60. L. 22. We see nothing better. If n. QX 12B64 wins the Q, which cannot remove, on account of B67 mate. 61. L. 23. OR6. QK2, 7 KKDQ2 followed by PKD2. 62. L. 23. If IIPQ for 12 QKDQ2, followed mostly by KD kilobytes square and KD KD3 plus. 63. L. 23. The extra pawn will be well supported by KD3, and White's position is altogether the better one. L. 24. 6 PR6, 6 KKDR3, 7 QKD63 leads to the same position by a transposition of moves. L. 24. Or 6 kilobytes QKDs, 7 PK6, 7 PQ5 if 7. KKDRs, 8 QR dollars chapter plus 8 KD67, 8 QB3 9 PQR3 plus. L. 24. 8 QKDXKP, 8 PXKD, 9 QXQ chapter, 9 KXQ, 10 KD67 chapter, 10 KK2L, IIKDXR is also good play, as White, after developing his QB and OOO, would win the KP by RK square. L. 24. For result of a PXKDC illustrative games. L. 24. Black evidently cannot capture either piece on account of the reply. Accordingly RX or QK5 and if 13 KDQ to White may either proceed with KDX or be circumflex accent KDs. 52 PHILID or defense. 25. Page K for PK4. 26-27. KKDB3Q. 28-29-30. BKD5. PXBB4. KKDB3 76-77 TBXKDR PXBOPXB and QXQ chapter. KXQ P kilobytes 4 underscore P kilobytes 3. Q are KKD square. PKKD3. XP KD 63 plus 69. 68 bar underscore OB tilde KDBK3 77 B1. 5. I. BQ to NBXKD. KTXPOPK to KDB3 OO. 10. KDB3 PXB KDB3 72 and KIBK to Ben OOO. 74 KDX RBXB OO. KDK square. QKDSQ.D 75 no QQQ KD3. QKDB3 79 KDX and Q tilde B30 KDK4 PKR3 page B3 73 1 FBR4 1 U1 UR underscore R2 underscore KDB4 QOB KORK square BK3 page kilobytes 4 QBXQ underscore KDXQ 10 QBXP BXP 1 OQ KDB3 plus 78 1 packet KDX 80 L KDXBCH 10 PXKD L 28. Move 7 QKD square. Black. M. L. 29. Move 12 QKD 63. Black. I. Highly eyelid S defense. L. 25. We give our variation as a specimen of a simple attack in the opening in which after the exchange of queens the first player obtains the advantage with his two bishops and the better development. The following main continuation is from the handbuch. 5 QXB, 5px beer, 6bqb4, 6q63. Ish 6kkt63, 7qqkt3 wins upon 7qqkt3, 7pqkt3, 8kt63, 8 page 83, 900, 96q3, block 80kt5, 10kkr3 if 10px 11bq5 and bkt5, then qkt3, 12ktxb chapter, 12qx 13qrq square, 13qb2, 14rq8 chapter and wins. L. 25. White will gain the rapid development by pkt5 chapter followed by 000 and then ac. Accordingly kd5 or q5 or kilobytes are 3 or qb4. L. 26. 5pqb4 is dangerous as white obtains a strong attack by 6pqb3, 6px 7kdxp followed mostly by qkd3. L. 26. White would only lose time by delaying the recapture. If for instance he lets the pawn stand until after black has played kd63, the second player might well defend it by pqb4 followed by 000. L. 27. Stronger than bq3 which would give black exchanging option later on by kdk4 or cause loss of time. It also prepares 000 while black evidently can only castle on the opposite side, and as white's pawns can easily be mobilized for the attack on the king's side, it is to white's advantage to clear at once the queen's side where his king will be better placed. L. 27. White will continue the attack with pk-kd4 followed by pk2, and then accordingly he may proceed with the advance of the krp or the development by kd-kd2, avoiding the exchange of minor pieces as black's game is hampered by his own pieces and exchanges would be a relief to him. L. 28. In a game between Senor Galmao White and the author, the same position arose in A. Ruiz Lopez by the transposition of moves R5. L. 28. Avoiding the hold at K3 which was left by the inferior move 7p kilobytes 3 adopted by the author in the above named game. Circumflex accent 6. L. 29. Another not uncommon defense is here 3. QKDQ2 which however we believe to be disadvantageous. White should proceed with 4 QKD63, for PQB3, 5 BK2, with the superior game. 77. L. 29. We do not recommend this move and prefer QKD63. We however give the variation springing from the move in the text as it comprises interesting complications. 78. L. 29. Continued 1200, 13 page 65, 13 PX 14 KDQS, and QUSQ, 15 RXB, 15 I6 KDXKP plus 79 Call 30, or 7P kilobytes 3, 7PQ for 8 PKS, 8 QKDQ2, 9 QB64, 9 KD64, followed by P kilobytes 3 with the better game. So call 30, if 8 QXB, 9 QK2, 9 RK square, 10 DXKD plus 154. Game 1. Vienna Congress. 1882. WINAW. BLACKBUR. Bendy. PHILID Defense. I-55. Wynor v. Blackburn. 1. Game I. A defense recommended by Janish, but no more satisfactory than others in this opening, especially if white reply as in the text. Game I we prefer here KDX which by transposition of moves leads to a position given in call. 19. 3. Game I. We do not think this as good as 6BK3. 4. Game I 6PKR3 was a good move now, as it attacked a hostile piece which had either to retreat at cost of time or else to be exchanged at disadvantage in value. 5. Game I. Useless, and as will be seen, it gets him into difficulty later on. 6. Game I. In allowing the opponent to fix his piece at Q5 black's QBP becomes weak. We would have preferred RQKD square 7. Game I this gives black a spirited attack, but we very much doubt whether that was worth the P5 best play on the other side. 8. Game I. PX was vastly superior. It black replied PQR4 with the intention of playing PQB4 should white capture that P. All difficulties could be avoided by the replied PKD5 with the superior game. 9. Game I. The beautiful move that gives black a strong attack at least for a time. 10. Game I. Best. If, for instance, 20KVXKD, 20BXB chapter, 21KQ2L, 21Q63, 22Q64, 22QXKD, 23BK.2, 23RXB chapter, 24QXR, 24QB6 mate. 11. Game I. This weak move greatly compromises his game, which we believe might have turned in his favor still by patient play. 22KKD square was evidently better, for black could not and double his rooks, as white would answer QK4. 12. Game I. Black pursues the attack in excellent style. 13. Game I. Of course if PXB black would answer QXR chapter 14. Game I. Overlooking the adversary's most ingenious coup, but he had no good move. If 31RQ.3 greater than 31QK8 chapter, 32BQ square, 32QX 33BB2, 33QK8 chapter, coup, 34BQ square, 34B kilobytes 3. Threatening BKD for chapter, with a winning attack. 15. Game I. A beautiful and elegant stroke. See diagram. 16. Game I. Clearly if the XR black mates by QKD. But even as it is white has little left to fight with, and black's queen wins easily against the two pieces. Steinitz v. Rainer. 17. Game 2. 6QKD63 at once reduces the option of black to 6PQB3 or 6 kilobytes QKD and both are unfavorable for the defense. Compare call. 24. 18. Game 2. 8BX was no doubt better, but as shown in our call. 24. White also obtains the advantage in that case. 19. Game 2. If IIKD-KD5, 12Q64 and wins. ORIFNQ-KD3, 12000 plus. 20. Game 2. Of course if QXQ white mates by RQ8. Goldsmith v. BS selling. 21. Game 3. This hazardous move was greatly favored by Morphy. The only correct play is KKDR3. 22. Game 3 we prefer 6KDXKP if only for its simplicity, as it gives white a plain advantage in a few moves. The line of play here initiated is most ingeniously pursued in the present game by white, but we think that black's defense could be so much improved as to make the issue uncertain. Compare our comments on black's GTH move. 23. Game 3. If 7. PK6, 8BX 8BXB, 9QRCH. 9PKD3, block Q63 plus, for if 10. QXKD, white mates into moves. Continued on page /J/I56PIIL idea defense. Game note. I. Move 31 RKDSCH. Black BLACKBUR and E. Game number 2. Move 13. BQB4. Black Rainer. White WINAW or White Steinitz. Game number 3. Move 16. QXKD chapter. Black VS selling. Game number 4. Move 15. XP Black Morphy. Asterisk White Goldsmith. White Barnes. PHIL idea defense. 159. Bird v. Morphy. 42. Game 5. Certainly dangerous and much inferior to PXQP. Compare columns 20 and 21. 43. Game 5. White could have here instituted Zucker towards winning attack by 6KDX. Compare call. 20. 44. Game 5. We much prefer the more defensive 8. BK to 45. Game 5. Much safer was QK to or KDB3. 46. Game 5. Lowenthal justly condemns this move as a blunder. The loss of a P could not be avoided excepting by giving up 2 pieces for a R, but the latter course presented more prospects of obtaining an equivalent in material with a good position. SG. Circumflex accent 10 KDX KD chapter, IIPX KD, 12BXL, 12RXB, 13 QKD5 chapter, 13 RKD3, 14 KDXR, 14 P or QXKD, 15 TXB chapter with 2 pawns and R for 2 minor pieces and a good game. 47. Game 5. KDXKD would have forced the position that actually occurred, whereas the play in the text subjected black to unnecessary complications. 48. Game 5. Lowenthal suggests here 12 KDXKDP, which we believe was his best course and might have led to the following continuation: 12 KXKD, 13 KDXKD, 13 BXKD, 14 KRKD square, 14 QB kilobytes 4, 15 BR6CH, 15 K63, 16 QKD5 chapter, 16 KK3, 17 BXR, and C. 49. We should have preferred 13 PQB4, for it 14 PXB, 14 BXKD, 15 QXB chapter, 15 QB2, threatening QXB chapter, and wins. 50. Game 5. PQB3 first would have been a good precautionary measure. 51. Game 5. Black is a pawn ahead with an excellent game, for in the long run the adverse KDP ought to fall too. But the impetuous ingenuity of Morphy, who was merely a youth during his brilliant chess career, apparently could not resist the temptation of risking the brilliant sacrifice for an attack which no doubt it required great skill and foresight to repel. 52. Game 5. This seems the natural move, but white loses at all chance of victory as black can force the draw at least. Much better was undoubtedly 19 QKD5, for it 19 PK6, 20 QQ8 chapter, 20 KB2, 21 QXB chapter, 21 BQ2, 22 BR5 chapter. It is necessary to get this B away from his present post as he blocks the exit of the white K, and if QXR, white answers QXRB 22 PKD3, 23 QXB chapter, 23 KKD square, if 23 KB square, 24 QXB chapter, followed by BKD3 should win, 24 QK6 chapter, 24 KKD2, 25 QK.5 chapter, 25 KKDSQ, 26 QXKP and wins, not however QK8CH, on account of 26 RXQ 27 PXQ 27 BXBCH. 28 KKD square, 28 RKD square chapter with at least a draw and good winning prospects. It is also obvious that if 19 QXKDP chapter, 20 KQ2, 20 BKD5 chapter, 21 KK3, 21 QB6 chapter, 22 BQ3 and ought to win. 53. Game 5. Lowenthal rightly points out here that white could have drawn by KB square at this point. 54. Game 5. Again white could draw by KR2 as suggested by Lowenthal. 55. Game 5. The beautiful master's stroke which forces the game in a few moves. Morphy v. Duke of Brunswick and Count I. Esward, consulting. Game 6. Has pointed out in our analysis this is not a good defense. Game 6. And this is worse. No doubt black has already a little the inferior game, but Q63 or QCJ2 were the best defensive continuations. Game 6. WHITE is not satisfied with winning the P and the tedious game that would have resulted after 8QX, 8QKD5 chapter, and C. The position fully justifies white to play for higher game, which was more in the Grand Master's style. Game 6. Just what white was playing for. QB2 was their best. Game 6. The first link in the chain of the most beautiful combination. Game 6. All-powerful and exact. Game 6. A very fine finish to a most elegant game. Morphy v. Hartwitz. Game 7. This move was first adopted by Lowenthal against Hartwitz, and Morphy subsequently favored it for the attack almost invariably. Game 7. In another game between the same players, Hartwitz played here 7KD63, which is by far superior to the move in the text. 7BK2 is also much preferable. Compare Table 3, Ls. 13, 14 and 15. The move in the text shuts a black's B and leaves a hole in his center. Game 7. Not as good as BK3, which keeps the B in communication with Botley wings and besides gains the move for the purpose of advancing P kilobytes for later on, as black cannot attack him by PKKD4. Game 7. The Q is only in the way of the B at this post. Much better is BK to reserving the retreat of BQ to eventually. Game 7. Very weak. KR square followed by KDB2 or vice versa were by far better, especially as he intended to enter with his KD at K for later on and the way chosen for his KDvis via KD5 subjects him to attack and loss of time. Continued on page I6 OPHIL or defense. Game number 5. Move 1-8Q from KR6 QR6. Black Morphe. Them are MI. Game number 6. Remove I6 QKDACH. Black Duke of Brunswick and Count ISOUARD. Consulting. Them asterisk rem B // versus / W W V / M11B. Whitebird. White Morphe. Game number 7. Move 30. Page 65. Black HARWIDZ. V circumflex accent BIFC. WHIFE Morphe. Game number 8. Move 25. RX B chapter. Black Botcher. White Morphe. Playing 8 games blindfold. PHILID or defense. 161. Continued from page 159. Game 7. The correct move and much stronger than 13 PK dollars on account of 13.064, 14 PK 6, 14 KRB square, 15 KRK square, 15 BX KD, 16 PXB, I6 PB3 plus. Game 7. Weak and creating another hole at the tender point of kilobytes for where White's KD later on attains command of the position with his KD. Game 7. Decidedly bad policy if only on the ground that it allows the opponent to fix his KD at a good post with gain of time. The R is of no use on the KD file and White is quite safe in allowing it to be broken open. Much better was QK square with the view of retrieving BQ to. Game 7. Showing fine strategical genius. In spite of the preparations of the opponent on the king's side, White proceeds with his own attack, well foreseeing that the adversary can do no harm on the open KD file. Game 7. RK square was preferable as it might eventually enable him to advance PQ for. Game 7. Useless, as Black might have answered 23 QQ2 which would compel the KD to go back again whence he came. Game 7. An error of judgment that costs a P and moreover practically cuts off his Q from the other wing where she is really wanted. Game 7. High class play. This waiting move secures him the advantage, whereas after 24 KDXBP, 24 RB square. Black evidently recovers the P. Game 7. Probably a miscalculation but even after the only other alternative 24. BX KD, 25 QXB, 25 QRKD square, or 25 PKD3, 26 QQ7, etc. 26 QR5 White had much the best of the game. Game 7. He could not play 27. QX on account of the following continuation pointed out by Lowenthal. 28 RXB chapter, 28 KXR, 29 QRs chapter, 29 BRs, 30 KVXB, 30 RXKD, 31 Q65 chapter, followed by QXR. Game 7. Certainly superior to RB2 followed by KR63. Game 7. With the view of releasing himself by PQ square, which he could not attempt at once as White could answer KDX, followed by QXB chapter. But he overlooks the opponent's ingenious winning maneuver. He had still a good fight left for a draw by PKD3, for if White played PQKD for key reply then Black could again retreat BB square and wait patiently until White's Q side attack exhausted itself as his own K side was secure enough. Game 7. A very beautiful initiation of a brilliant (0/. Game 7. White now forces the game with a few master strokes.